What's going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a vinyl haul showcasing all of the records that I acquired within the month of January this year in 2020. With the first month of 2020 over, it did bring forth a lot of great vinyl finds. A lot of interesting live releases, some limited edition pressings, as well as stuff that I was just listening to at the time in the month that I really wanted to get my hands on. And I'm quite pleased with how this year has started with vinyl finds. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the latest finds. Alright, so, first vinyl find of 2020 was a rather interesting one. So this is a record that I've actually kind of been waiting to get. This was at the FYE that I work at. We got this in around Christmas time, and according to the system, it said that it came out on Black Friday on November 29th, and I had known that this had been out prior, like overseas in like Europe and whatnot, but I guess it made its American release according to the system. And we have a policy on not getting our discount on new releases until like 30 days after the release had come out. So I just put it aside, and I figured when the 30 days was up, I would pick it up, and sure enough, it was my first vinyl pickup for the year, and that is Queen. Happy Inglorious, All the Hits from Tokyo. This is one of those like legal bootlegs that often are found in the gray market. It's licensed, but it's not endorsed by the band. And this is just one of those many releases that you see pop up on like Amazon in the UK and various other record store websites. Essentially, this is a live radio broadcast from Japan in 1985 during the Works tour. It is not the full show, and this has been released under different configurations and different titles. But honestly, for the track list alone and what's included on here, as you can see, it's absolutely worth it, and the quality of the recording is actually quite nice too, so I figured this would be a cool piece of Queen vinyl to have in the collection. And what's really cool with this is that it comes on this really nice sort of rippled kind of gold vinyl. Yes, you can kind of see there you go, you can see the ripples. Looks absolutely nice, kind of has somewhat of a translucent look to it as well, but it looks absolutely sharp, and it has nice gold center labels to kind of match the color of the vinyl. So I figured since the timing was right for me to get my discount on it, I would get my hands on it. And yeah, this definitely serves as the first vinyl find of the new year, and it is for sure a rather interesting one. Queen, Happy Inglorious, All the Hits from Tokyo. Alright, so here is a record that I actually got for Christmas, but I had to end up sending back to Amazon because there was an entirely different record inside the jacket, and it was not what my parents had ordered. And so they were able to get a free replacement, and all is good in the hood this time around. Talking about this album here. This is Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. Now, when I first got this for Christmas, inside the jacket was Defenders of the Faith. And I take it out and I see the cover, I'm like, huh, interesting. And I took the record out, and it was that. I thought maybe it was the wrong inner sleeve, but maybe the right record. It was a whole botched up product altogether. I guess they let a faulty copy kind of slip, you know, along the cracks. But Amazon was able to supply a free replacement, and everything is fine. And this is a fantastic album from Judas Priest, and a very important metal album in general. You get Electric Eye, You've Got Another Thing Coming, the title track, Pain and Pleasure, just absolutely great stuff from these guys. Here is the inner sleeve here, which just simply has the cover, and then we have all the lyrics on this side, and then we also have really nice custom labels as well, which I will show. And this is the A side, which just simply has the album cover. And then we have the track list for both sides on this side. Very, very nice stuff. Really glad that I was still able to get a copy of this as a little post-Christmas extra gift. And absolutely going to have a blast spinning it. Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance.
Alright, so here is a rather highly anticipated release that I have been very excited for some time. I pre-ordered this back in like November, and there was no real like definitive release date, just a kind of time frame of when they were going to start shipping them out. And they actually ended up becoming ahead of schedule and started shipping out copies weeks before they were due to, which was quite cool. This is the first time vinyl release of Eric Carr's Rockology. Now, Eric Carr was the drummer in Kiss back in 1980 when he replaced Peter Criss, up until 1991 when he unfortunately passed away. He was the Fox persona and an absolutely fantastic drummer. And this album collects a bunch of songs that he had written and demoed in the 80s. And this is the, like I said, the first time it's been released on vinyl. And it came out on CD back in like 2000. And I actually got the CD copy for Christmas, I think years ago when I was a kid. And I do remember listening to it a lot. And it's honestly a great collection of tunes because not only was Eric Carr a talented drummer, but he was a very talented musician, a talented vocalist, a talented writer, just an all-around just great guy in general. And there's a little hype sticker which comes kind of attached to the cover. And it says, first time on vinyl, 180-gram orange vinyl, includes booklet and a special surprise. So they actually updated the artwork. This is all exclusive to the vinyl version. Nice portrait of Eric. And here's the back side. Really cool picture of him behind his drum kit. And a little fun fact, you see the date stamp on the bottom of that picture? It says November 9th, 1990. This was taken at Eric Carr's last Kiss show, which was at Madison Square Garden on the Hot in the Shade tour. And inside here we have a really nice sort of booklet slash insert. There's Eric with his drum kit. Very nice photo collage. Very nice. And then on the back side here, there's some notes from Bruce Kulick, who actually played on some of these demos. Kind of offer some background behind the songs on this collection. And I believe the surprise inside is this little official merchandise kind of flyer. So you can get Eric Carr t-shirts, lithographs, bobbleheads, drum heads, coins. His Rock Heads comic that he worked on back in the 80s. So it's cool if you want to stock up on some Eric Carr swag. The record itself comes in a nice polyline sleeve. And the record comes pressed on very nice marbled orange vinyl with nice custom labels, which look sharp. Now, here's a fun fact with this release. So this is the very first release which has been put out by a label called The Rockologist. Now, The Rockologist is run by a gentleman by the name of Tom Shannon. Now, Tom actually assisted Universal Music with the Kiss vinyl reissues from 2014, which was essentially the Kissteria Roadcase box set, and he also helped with the Casablanca singles box set. He basically took parts of his collection. Universal took like high-res scans of his stuff, and they ended up using it on various projects such as those that I mentioned, which is quite cool. And the great thing about Tom is that he always thinks with the collector in mind. So the version that I ended up getting here is like the standard version, which is, you know, easily available. But there's also some really cool limited variants that are available. Some are pressed on like sunburst vinyl, which looks quite cool. And to kind of kick it up a notch for like the absolute crazy Kiss collectors, there's these things called Rock Relics cards, which actually come with either parts of the shirt that Eric Carr wore at the Video Music Awards from 1991. Some include pieces of his drumsticks, and then you also get like lithographs and bags and stuff, all kinds of really cool stuff. But those are some of the more upscale deluxe versions of this particular release. But like I said, I just got the standard one. I cannot wait to play this. It's been a long time since I've listened to it, and honestly, I am really, really psyched to Eric Carr's Rockology. Alright, so here is an Amazon find that I got with my Discover cashback bonus points. I did not redeem what I got last month. It was only like a couple of dollars. but I held on to it and I combined what I got last month with this month, and it pretty much covered the cost of the record, so I didn't pay a penny out of pocket, which was quite nice. This is Elton John's Here and There. This is a live album which came out back in '76. The Here part of the album was from the Royal Festival Hall in London, and the There part of the album was from Madison Square Garden in New York City. And honestly, what intrigued me with this album, considering that I've never really listened to it before, is the track list, because you get all the hits. You get Crocodile Rock, Honky Cat, Border Song, Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding, Rocket Man, Benny and the Jets, all that good stuff. I was debating between this album and his first album, Empty Sky. They were pretty much priced at the same point, and I just went with this because it just featured the stuff I was most common with. There's Elton on the back, on top of his Steinway and Sons piano. And we have an insert, which has liner notes written by Paul Gambaccini and credits to the album. And then on the back, we have his backup band's equipment, which is pretty cool. And then the record itself comes in a polyline sleeve, comes on the black DJM label. And from what I've read, this was a contract obligation album, because he had his own record label with the Rocket Company, and the first album that was on that label was the Blue Moves album. So before he could really strike out on his own, he gave his label this album. And subsequent remastered versions have featured songs that were recorded at the shows but were not featured on the album. The New York show actually was John Lennon's last live public performance. They did renditions of Whatever Gets You Through the Night and I Saw You Standing There. So that's, pretty interesting stuff that I think is worth checking out. But this is absolutely going to be a fun spin, and I cannot wait to play it. Elton John, Here and There. Alright, so recently my girlfriend and I met up with her dad for a little post-holiday Christmas sort of meetup. We swapped gifts, and he got me a $50 Amazon card. So, of course, I did some shopping, and I got some awesome stuff. Starting off with Van Halen, Women and Children First. This was the band's third album, which came out back in 1980. Some notable tracks on here are And the Cradle Will Rock, Everybody Wants Some. My personal favorite is Tora Tora, which goes right into Loss of Control. Just a powerful yet frantic Van Halen song. Been one of my longtime favorites. Here's the picture of the band on the back side. This is a recent Rhino Warner Brothers reissue, which was mastered by Chris Bellman from the original tapes, pressed over at Record Industry. Comes on the white Warner Brothers label. Looks absolutely great, and I cannot wait to play this. It's been a while since I've actually last listened to this album. And up next is an album that I personally have never ever listened to, and I'm so close to completing the studio collection of this particular band, but this album, along with another album of theirs, often get overlooked just simply because it does not really stand out amongst the rest of the band's catalog. And I'm aware that these albums were reissued recently, a couple years back, and they're still out on the market. I just figured I might as well get them now, try to complete the collection. I am talking about The Doors, Full Circle. So this was the last album that they did together after Jim had passed. They basically kind of kept the flag flying for a couple years. They released Other Voices in 1971. This album came the following year in 72, and then the band basically disbanded in 73. The most notable track on this is the Mosquito, which I believe was the single off of this, but aside from that, I have not heard a note from this album. So I'm really excited to kind of dig deeper into the Doors' legacy by getting into this album and hopefully getting a copy of Other Voices. I really love the artwork on this album. It kind of has a really cool evolution of man thing going for it. And what's interesting with the packaging on this is that it comes with this thing that you can assemble called the Zoetrope, which is like a little thing that you kind of punch out here. There's like little dotted lines that you can kind of punch out, and you can assemble it, and you place it right on top of your turntable, the platter, I should say, as it's spinning, and that kind of gives off a really cool effect. There's a video up on YouTube that kind of shows it. I'm going to keep mine intact just for collector's purposes. Here's the track list and credits. There's the band looking out into the sunset. And the record itself comes on the kind of classic Butterfly Elektra label. This was pressed at Quality Record Pressings, and this was cut by Doug Sex at the Mastering Lab. So I'm really excited to dig a bit deeper into the Doors' work with this particular album. And up next is actually an album that I got from the Amazon warehouse. It was marketed as used but like new, which is a pretty good indicator that it's still going to be sealed. And literally when I received it, it was still in the cardboard mailer, and there was just some plastic wrapped around it that had like an Amazon guaranteed sticker. So I ended up paying $13 for this, which is not a bad price, and even the brand new price of $17 was not bad, but just the fact that I saw it for a bit cheaper and essentially the same condition as brand spanking new, it was a no-brainer. And it's actually a band I've kind of been listening to a lot lately. This is System of a Down, Mesmerize. This came out back in 2005. The notable track on this is BYOB, and there's some other good ones on here like Cigarro, Question, Lost in Hollywood. Great band, System of a Down. I always loved their style. Heavy yet very dramatic melodic vocals. It's really good stuff. And we have a printed inner sleeve here, which has pictures of the band, credits, and lyrics. And then we have the vinyl itself, which comes with very nice sort of eyeball clock kind of center labels, which kind of runs with the theme of the artwork. So that right there is what I got from Amazon. And this next record I'm going to show you guys is one that I actually picked up today. I was out and about with my best friend. We went out to lunch, went to Guitar Center, we went to the mall, which has the Rock Shop, which is the local record store that I film my record store vlogs at. And I had persuaded my friend to buy a new ride cymbal for his drum kit, and he saw me looking at this record, and he's like, "Come on, dude, buy it." So I pretty much bought it just to make him feel a bit better for justifying his purchase. And also, it's a really cool record. I've seen it before many times that I've been over at the store, and I just figured I did my research on it, and I'm like, why not? Give it a chance. This is AC/DC Back to School Days. Now, this is one of those legal bootlegs that have come out in recent years. The recording itself is a live broadcast from a show that they did in Maryland back in '79 during the Highway to Hell tour. And honestly, by the standard of soundboard FM broadcast recordings, this one is fantastic. And what's interesting is that there were two variations of this show available at the store. There was this version, which comes on red vinyl, which was $34.99, kind of pricey, but not too bad, because you really won't see these pop up anywhere, because Discogs won't allow them to be sold, and you won't really see them on Amazon. And then there was another copy there, which had a different cover, black vinyl, but for $40. And so I figured I go for the cooler colored variant. Awesome picture of the band on the back. And here is the track list, which is pretty much anything off of Highway to Hell and anything that predates that, which is fantastic. Gatefold sleeve, which has some a little bit of liner notes and some pictures of the band. And I'll showcase one of the records just so you can see the color of the vinyl. And there it is. Nice custom labels, nice red vinyl. And then we have all the songs on the flip side of the label. Really nice. Aside from If You Want Blood, You've Got It, this is the next piece of live AC/DC vinyl in my collection, because I know that there's that live album that they did in the early 90s from the Razor's Edge tour, and then there's also the Live at River Plate live album, and I still have to get those, but I figured when I saw this, and also I'm just a huge Bon Scott AC/DC fan, this would be an absolutely cool piece to add to the AC/DC collection. Back to School Days. Alright, so like I mentioned in my Third Man Records Vault Grails live stream that I did recently, there was another record that I purchased alongside the White Stripes Live in Mississippi and Under Great White Northern Lights B shows, and that record was this one. This is Third Man Records Single Releases 2009 Volume 1. And this is a 2 LP compilation which was released exclusively through the Vault. And it brings together all the singles that Third Man had put out within their first year of operation in 2009. There is a whole host of characters on this compilation. We have the first 3 singles by The Dead Weather. There's Mildred and the Mice. There's a Jack White solo tune called Fly Farm Blues. Carl Sagan, Wanda Jackson, the Black Bells. Just an awesome collection of all the early Third Man singles from 2009. I love the way that the gatefold is set up. It has all the single releases mapped out here with a brief summary and credits, which will be fun to listen to as I listen to this. And inside, I'll showcase just one of the records because it pretty much is the same throughout. But here are the labels. Nice custom black, white, and yellow labels. And included inside is a really cool poster, which simply has all of the single covers here, which is quite cool. This will look good in the bedroom. Oh, I'm just kidding. So, since I ordered this one, and of course it's volume 1, so there is more out there, so then I went ahead and hunt down volume 2 from 2010. Now this I actually bought from a Discog seller, and shockingly enough, it was rated VG+, justifiable. I mean, it's not sealed, and it's in very, very good shape. I paid $10 for this. $10 for a Third Man Vault release. You really can't go wrong here. So on this one in 2010, you have Karen Elson, The Dead Weather, Conan O'Brien, the Greenhorns, Wanda Jackson. Those are some of the ones that stand out for me. But the other stuff, such as like the Secret Sisters, Laura Marling, the Thornbills, this is all kind of going to be new to me. And here's the gatefold. So my thing with Third Man is that, granted, I gravitated towards Third Man because of Jack White, the White Stripes and all that, but I've really tried to give all of the other artists a chance that are on the label, and that's kind of how I came to love like artists like the Black Bells, Olivia Jean, Karen Elson, Margot Price. So I'm actually really, really excited to dig deeper into Third Man as a label. These are all releases that I'm pretty much well aware of. I've just never really kind of sat down and taken the time to check out. And I think having these 2 LP compilations are going to be a great way to dig deeper into the catalog of Third Man. Custom labels once again, pretty similar to the first one. And there's also another volume. I think there's one more from 2011. That's volume 3. And that'll be the next one that I'm going to hunt down. And the last record I'm going to show you guys, and this will be the last one of the haul, is it kind of goes hand in hand with the Doors Full Circle album that I showed earlier. And of course, since the completest blood is in me, I went ahead and tried to hunt this album down, and I went on Discogs because it wasn't available on Amazon, like from other sellers and stuff, but I looked on Discogs, found a copy of the recent reissue, still sealed, for $8. This guy must have been trying to get it out of his hands, and I gladly got it. So this is Other Voices. This is the other non-Jim Morrison album that the band did. This was done, I think they started recording this while he was away in Paris, and it came out towards the tail end of 1971. And the notable track on this is Tightrope Ride, which Ray Manzarek sings lead on. It's a really fun tune. And then we have things like Ships with Sails, Variety is the Spice of Life, I'm Horny, I'm Stoned, In the Eye of the Sun. And then here's the cover, here's the backside, and the gatefold opens up this way here. Nice black and white picture of the band. And then inside we have, as always, from the time period, the Butterfly Electra label. Pressed at Quality Record Pressings and mastered by Doug Sachs, of course, just like Full Circle. And I can gladly say now, my Doors studio collection is now complete. And now it's off to get, I guess, whatever else they put out. Record Store Days slowly approaching. I'm sure they'll do something, and I got to get some of the other ones. But until then, Doors studio collection is now complete with the Doors' Other Voices.
So there you guys go. That is my vinyl haul of all the records that I acquired within January of 2020. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the record spinning.